to see what he's got going on in his part of the world. But the Brown University put the police chief on leave after a deadly shooting. Brown president places police chief on leave as Trump administration launches investigation. Brown University places police chief on leave after the deadly campus shooting, and all in that way. And the Department of Education is launching a review of safety in that particular incident. And a second big batch of Epstein files, includes many mentions of Trump. Justice Department releases new batch of documents in the Epstein investigation. And new Epstein files released include Trump mentions. What they say is what some people are reading through and trying to find out. So the DOJ has released a third batch of Jeffrey Epstein files, including some that, as I said, mention Trump. U.S. to build a Trump class warship for the Golden Fleet. So Trump's proposed battleship might look impressive on paper, but building them won't be easy or cheap. So Trump is announcing a new Trump class of warships. So Trump announces a new class of U.S. battleships named after himself. So it looks like he's going to name something after himself again. Thone clears the GOP minibus logjam with help from Trump. So this GOP trio is a thorn in Thune's side. So the three Republican senators are giving John Thune headaches. But we'll see how this all plays out in terms of politics. And anger in Denmark, Trump appoints a special envoy to Greenland. Trump says Greenland is essential for security, and some people are wondering whether he could take it by force. But he announced he's appointing Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry to serve as the U.S. Special Envoy to Greenland. And Donald Trump on the Financial Times said, we have to have Greenland. Apparently, he's going after Greenland. And one dead in Redding as dangerous rain and flooding threaten parts of Northern California. So, rare high risk for flooding spurs evacuation in Southern California after deadly floods in Northern California. And the Galveston plane crash, 6 dead after medical support plane from Mexico crashes. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about. The plane that crashed near Galveston Causeway was carrying out a medical support mission, the Mexican Navy confirms. So we'll get maybe to some other stories, but right now we'll bring in Mr. Sharif and see what he's got going in his world over there in Bangladesh and also answer this phone call. So, Mr. Sharif, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for your great contribution through all of your media and initiative. Right now, my World Talent Economic Forum, we work like a catalyst for emerging economy. And the major things I try to learn from you and I try to contribute through Port TV that how to be a ethical uh, journalist. Misinformation and disinformation create a huge problem around the world, and I try to make an meaningful contributions through this Pot TV, and this is the way we can grow together with this emerging economy and with this global north. And another important thing is that today uh, uh, country I live in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has a lot of challenging situation, specifically Bangladesh challenging situation for elections. The young people are dying, and there is a tension in between India and Bangladesh. And honestly speaking, in the tensions is happening because of the misinformation and disinformations. And for that particular issues, I want how we can contribute and how we can make a meaningful contributions. So I just want to say that like with our World Talent Economic Forum and with our Pod TV, we can make a very meaningful contributions. And thank you joining, Nick. Actually, today there is a lot of discussions in Bangladesh in my conference and my research center about misinformation and disinformation, especially the media role. Because right now there is a huge tension in between Bangladesh and India, and global communities also have a lot of comments and other things. Through my Pod TV channel, through our World Talent Economic Forum, I request all of the journalists, please play ethical role, play a positive role, because of this social media. Anybody is coming, anybody is joining as a journalist. So I want a professional journalist like Nick and Mark. You should develop institution for journalists, and through your journalism institution, I think There is a millions of journalists in social media. They can learn how to make a good story. They can learn how to make a high quality podcast. And misinformation and disinformation we should abolish. uh, this is actually a massive challenging situation right now in South Asia, only because of the lack of positive contributions of journalists. Many of the media and journalists from India, they are bringing all of the wrong informations. Bangladesh do not have any kind of Islamic fundamentalist growth. Bangladesh basic things, some of the young people, those who really love their country, those who have really want to contribute. And I know that USA has politically USA has very strong alignment with Bangladesh government. Even though Indian media, they are bringing the information that USA actually growing this fundamentalism in Bangladesh, that is completely wrong. What I see through this diplomacy in between USA, North America, and Bangladesh, Bangladesh economics moving to the right directions. Bangladesh economics and other things move in the right kind of thing. The young populations, they want these things. You already know Hadi died because of the shooter, and shooter ran away to India. So this is, I know India has a lot of good people. India has a lot of educated people. Even the global community has a lot of good people. But this is my appeal to the Pot TV editors, chief editor Dick Palveda, Kimberly, and all of you. This is very high time. You should focus on uh, ethical journalism. You have to work for misinformation and disinformations. We have to train good journalists. uh, Maybe through your Pot TV institution. I'm not a professional journalist. I just come because Nick give me opportunities and I join in this media. But this is very, very, because of these things, many people are dying. Because of these things, it look like we have a war in between India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So this is high time. Nick, what's your thought about ethical journalism?
Yeah, you go on mute. There you go.
I muted myself. Yeah. Um, well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to see a lot of changes in the next 10 years, Sharif, in terms of journalism. Maybe artificial intelligence will get in somehow and be able to fact check some of the things that are on social media before you get to them. Because right now the problem is I read a lot of these posts and they're completely made up. I mean, they're completely fabricated, and some of them are misleading. So when you're looking at media today, you're generally looking at something that's fabricated. I mean, in a lot of cases, fabricated or misleading. And then there's a lot of clickbait, in other words, da 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 da, go see this, where they would show this person died, and then I did a fact check, person didn't die, you know. And then they do it all the time to get you to click onto their post or whatever it might be. So right now, I think that the media is in trouble. I think young people are more accepting of being lied to. Maybe, but I really don't appreciate it. In other words, everywhere you go, on social media, it's a lie, and then you go to mainstream media, it's politically oriented. So in other words, somebody's pushing an agenda. So like I said, the media is kind of in trouble in terms of getting just. I mean, I like listening to Mark's comments for the show because the facts. In other words, he's just reading the news. What happened. Now later on, of course, we throw all our opinions out. But at least during his monologue, you just get the facts and none of this opinion stuff or misleading stuff or made up stuff, But unfortunately, people apparently they like to get misled, or they want to hear something that supports their opinion. So just getting facts is something a lot of people don't consume. Also, I liked seeing Mark had another good person on his online dinner party, which is perfect. Some retired golfer.
Yes.
who married a Gulf. I remember that interview, Mark. Okay, but and see, that's the good thing about Pod TV, because she is actually a really good golfer. I went and looked at her Wikipedia page. She married a PGA person, and just basically a solid person. But a lot of these people, they don't get any love or attention from the media. It's all the same old people, in other words, the celebrities, but not the people that are actually pretty good, you know. So anyway, Pod TV allows people that are actually pretty good to be on, as opposed to, you have to be some super celeb. And I'm trying to get somebody from Washington, D.C. on. Boy, they're tough. In other words, the senators and Congress people, really tough. In other words, you think they're supposed to represent America, but after they get to Washington, they represent themselves. So we're hoping that Steve eventually gets, Steve Rao gets a position in Washington,
You
D.C.
can get a position and you can come back to us regularly. Hey, by the way, I did see a story that you might be interested in, both Nick and um, Dr. Sharif and everything, but apparently the DHS has increased an offer for undocumented migrants to $3,000 if they voluntarily leave in the next few days. So if they leave by the end of 2025, they can get $3,000 if they self-deport before 2026. So we're talking basically about a 8-day period that if they self-deport, they might be able to collect a check for $3,000. So they're offering an exit bonus for migrants who self-deport and everything like that. So what is our thought about this holiday stipend that is being offered for folks that might want to self-deport?
Yeah, it's cheaper than chasing them down and deporting them. That's for sure. But at the same time, when you move from country to country, Mark, it's not a cheap thing to do. It's not an easy task. So, in some respects, I feel for the migrants that came in here, even though they came here illegally, because they have so many very difficult adjustments to make. In other words, there's the language barrier. Most en habla español, no habla inglés. So got language barriers, and then on top of the language barriers, they have jobs they have to get. So it's pretty difficult to move from country to country. I know there's a lot of people I've talked to. I'm going to move to Spain. I'm going to move to. Well, it's not that easy. Oh, I'll get a job here. No, you won't. There are no jobs in Spain. You better have a job before you come over here. I mean, and if you did get a job in Spain, you're going to be extremely disappointed. You're getting paid half of what you would in the United States if you get a job. So I think people are very unrealistic about stuff like that. So 3,000.
Speaking of unrealistic, I was wondering from both Bangladesh and Spain's point of view, what are some of the dangerous animals? Because apparently there are shark attacks that are being feared after a swimmer went missing off of Monterey Bay coast here in North America. And of course, there are other fears as well that people may be having over different things. So what are some of the fears that you have heard about that folks might be worried about?
Well, you hear about shark attacks, but the fact is most people will die of the flu. In other words, this is really then again, this is the media. It's because of Jaws. Love to see a shark come in and bite you and kill you. Oh, I'm scared. But let me tell you something. That's not what's going to kill you. Most people will die of heart disease. That's the number one killer in the world. That's the reason I'm saying, Dr. Sharif, if you want to help Bangladesh out, get them in the healthcare services. That's not going to go away. Most people will die of health disease. If someone wants to say, what you're going to die of, it's a bloody heart attack. Okay, next, cancer. Okay, cancer is number two. And we're talking about like 500,000, this in the U.S. alone, will die of heart disease, and then 400,000 die of cancer. Now, there was a new drug that just came out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's great. Of all the social media sites, I like LinkedIn the best because for whatever reason, most of the people there are very professional. It was designed to be like a professional site, and they generally post good stuff. And I hope this is good. But this was a new drug that they found that slows down glioblastoma. People don't know what that is. It's brain cancer. Now, if I had clients that had that, you know what that does? It basically what one of my clients had to do, was a good friend even so, they had to cut out most of his brain. And then, when they cut out most of your brain, you're left with nothing. You're like, okay, seriously, that's what they do with glioblastoma. And then it killed him. Okay, that's the reality of glioblastoma. And some people who have that realize it's a death sentence, like pancreatic cancer. This is the number 2 killer in the world right now. It's cancer. Number 1, heart disease. Number 2, cancer. Now they're making progress on that area, and that's one reason, Mark, we have our show, Medicine and Science. I haven't got Dr. Patmos to go talk about, cancer treatments, but the thing is, that's big. But no matter what you say about shark attacks, it's not going to kill you. It'll be because you didn't take a COVID vaccine, okay, or you didn't take a flu vaccine. That'll kill 40,000 people. Go. It's too bad Rick Rosner's not here, because I say go Google shark attacks. How many people in the U.S. got killed in shark attacks? 4, maybe. Flu, 40,000. See, there's a big difference. So again, it's just more sensation. If you got killed by a shark attack or an alligator, come on, that's not what's going to kill you. We should do a show, Mark, of what's going to kill you.
Well, I just did it as of late 2025. There were around 8 to 10 fatal shark attacks globally, with Australia reporting at least 3 to 5 deaths, and the U.S.
Okay.
having 2 to 4. So numbers vary slightly by sources as
Okay,
reported
you
or
can,
updated.
okay, play Rick Rosner, flu deaths. Google or AI. That's why AI is great. AI flu deaths. How many people died of the flu? So we got shark attacks worldwide, 8 to 10. Where is Rick? Rick and Heritage Toby's here. He could do some of the dirty work. Okay, how many people died of the flu in the world? AI should know the answer to this question. That's why I do use AI a lot, because the thing is, I can fact check things real quickly, and I do want to thank Google for putting their AI thing on the internet for free. I don't know how they make any money off it. I think they just want to make sure people don't leave Google.
For the U.S. 2024-2025 flu season, the CDC reported preliminary estimates of around 38,000 deaths by October 2025, with a high burden, especially for children. 288 pediatric deaths for the current late 2025-2026 season. Activity is picking up, with early data for December 2025 showing about 1,900 deaths so far, but totals are still preliminary.
So the thing is,
the thing is what?
The one point I just
we're on the same page.
Yeah. I just want to add, like our World Talent Economic Forum, definitely we think that healthcare is very important. We have longevity conference next year, December, and many famous healthcare scientists, doctors, pharma industries, they will join in these things. One of the interesting aspect, I think, I find that Western world, they can take from Bangladesh, from India, Ayurveda. Even recently, we are working with Australian AI company. It's like a learning management system, and IIT Madras and your University of British Columbia. And we find that Ayurveda is something that the Western world can do some research, and they can take different kind of, let's say flu. For flu, you can take this Ayurveda. It's very healthy, it's very organic, and it can help you to overcome from this flu. Even in the COVID situation, according to UN, they thought that millions of people will die in Bangladesh and India because of the COVID, but it's not happened. If you see our food habit, we use a lot of spicy, right? And you can see that spicy give us metabolism improvement in our body, and it's actually helpful. So always I see that, let's say Bangladesh people, they bring American burger in Bangladesh and in India, Kentucky Fried Chickens in Bangladesh. So I say, why don't you bring more this one thing for food? Maybe it will help you to improve your metabolisms through different kind of spicy, and it's proven. I have a research paper on that. And secondly, why don't you take some sort of yoga? Definitely it's very popular in North America, and Ayurveda. Maybe it will be more healthy, and you can reduce your health cost, and it's organic. It's actually give you a very productive lifestyle. So maybe so for that particular issues, I'm working with some pharma industry in Bangladesh, let's say Beximco Pharma and many famous organization in South Asia. So we are just trying. Definitely, you have many good research lab in North America and Europe, and many healthcare big industry. Beside that, you can welcome this pharma. You can welcome this kind of organic food. You can welcome this kind of spicy, which will be helpful for Nick. I saw that even in this year, you can go for yoga, practicing some yoga and aerobics, and yeah, it's good. I always because people say, hey, you are very energetic, even though I'm very young, but I go for yoga and aerobics and meditations, reciting Quran, and I pray to Allah. It's give me a special energies, and definitely food habit.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
very worried about
I do
Western food
appreciate
habits, like
that.
all of the junk food they love. So
Yeah, I appreciate that, Dr. Sharif, because that's one problem that America is also going to fight. And I got a book back there called Aging America. The baby boomers are going to get older. The 70-year-olds are going to be in their 80s, and the 60-year-olds are going to be in their 70s. And so we're going to have millions and millions of old people in the United States of America. So health issues are going to be more and more important. And if you're going to have a health thing, you may want to invite Dr. Patmos, who does our medicine and science show, Dr. Sharif, on your World Talent Economic Forum. He's pretty seriously into medicine since he's a medical doctor in the United States.
He'd be a good person for Dr. Sharif to
definitely,
and everything.
like the organic treatments. It will help your metabolisms. Organic treatments. It will help you to improve your conditions. Even though meditation, it's helped me a lot. Most of my work in online, but I target every day that at least I walk 5 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
And I meet with people. I go to natures. I meet with people. I meet with people head to head. I say hello, go handshakes, and go to natures. Do some yoga aerobics as well as meditations. So trust me, it gives me a full refreshment in my body. And if you follow the way, even though I don't know you like it, this Indian culture or other thing, it's like it will give you 100 years. I saw my grandfather, he lives around 100 years. He has that kind of attitudes, like habits and everything. Early in the morning, they woke up. Even in Chinese people, you see they woke up early in the morning, very early in the morning. Even in our country, but I saw that American people love to like do all of the midnight party and things. And that is some sort of, we can learn from different culture, right? Good things. US have a lot of good things we can learn. But Nick, you should avoid a lot of coffees and this junk food. Avoid American burger.
Yeah, trying to stay young. Also, it's very interesting when it comes to food, because I love Indian food. But Indian food is in the United States and here in Spain is really Pakistani food, Dr. Sharif. They just don't call it that. And the reason you know it's Pakistani, it's not Indian food, is it's meat. Okay, and real Indians, they don't eat meat because that's just the way it is. But when you have like chicken tandoori, that's Pakistani. I mean, that's not Indian. So it's kind of funny that the Indian, they call it Indian food, but it's really Pakistani food. It's a misnomer. They need to change it in the United States.
No, I mean, India's a big continent, so not everybody eats the same thing in terms of Indian food.
I know, but for the most part, it's Hindu, and the thing is, they don't eat meat, Mark. But Muslims eat meat. So for the most part, Indian food is Pakistani food. Okay, they just don't call it Pakistani food. So they should retitle it Pakistani food. So I love Pakistani food.
Okay, nice. But I'm like a vegetarian, and Bangladeshi people like fish and rice.
Oh yeah, fish. Right.
We have more than 105 rivers, and definitely I love climate. So we have a lot of things. So that's why I will invite you all in Bangladesh. Hopefully, you will enjoy a lot different culture. I think your friend home, he visit Bangladesh. He visit everywhere. Homestoner. He visit Dhaka, he visit Chittagong, he visit our Dhaka University, he visit our economic zone. He visit even Bangladesh Investment Development Authority Prime Minister office. I mean,
Mhm.
right now he's sick, but he's very nice man, and I'm sure
Yes.
that you should all visit Bangladesh. It's a different culture and different things.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, and
We'll get
transfer this
we'll get out there. We'll get
Ayurveda.
out there.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
really quickly, because you told me to Google these things, because you say something, so I have to double check you sometimes, Nick, because it says the relationship between Hinduism and meat consumption is diverse, with no single universal rule across the religions, many traditions, scriptures, and cultures. So you really can't say that all Hindus are
No,
going
it's
to
not
be
all.
in that same rule and everything, because it says a significant portion are vegetarian, but many are not, and dietary
Right.
practices are varied by the region, which was again to say that's a big country. It's got many people, like billions and everything like that. So you can't make these generalization type statements and
No,
everything like that.
I didn't say all. I said most of, at least if I did say all, that's not correct. Most of them, like what they said, most of them do not eat meat. But have you ever seen a Pakistani restaurant in the United States, Mark?
Yeah, there are Pakistani restaurants and Indian restaurants. I've seen both. That's what I'm saying. I've
Really?
seen, yes, even here in
I've seen a lot of Indian
even
restaurants
here in
that
the triangle.
are Pakistani.
Like I
What?
could type in Pakistani restaurants and it will come up.
Pakistani restaurants near me.
Yes, yep. Pakistani restaurant near me. Yes, Kebab and Curry is a Pakistani restaurant. It's on Ninth Street.
Oh, kebab and curry. Yeah, curry's
Tandoor,
great.
Tandoor, Nonstop,
And
which I've actually
tandoori.
eaten at,
Yeah,
is a Pakistani
yeah.
restaurant. So that's just the first three that came up and everything when I typed in
do you like
Pakistani restaurant.
biryani? Do you like biryani? Something actually, Bangladeshi biryani is very famous.
Yeah, it's really good, but it has a lot of rice in it, so it can be fattening. So I got to be
Yes,
careful. My
yes.
wife goes,
I
"You
did
can't
have
eat
a
that."
quick question
Yeah,
for everybody, including Jacoby, who I see is here as well. But is Trump just going to name everything after himself? Because apparently he's now wanting to
absolutely,
name an entire military fleet after himself and everything like that. So he now
absolutely.
create his own Trump military fleet and everything like
Remember, it's not going to be the Kennedy Center for the Arts. It's going to be the Trump Center for the Arts. It's not going to be the George Washington aircraft carrier. It's going to be the Trump aircraft carrier. So everywhere you go, Trump's name is going to be on it. So just get used to
Well,
it,
like I said,
everybody.
he's unveiled this new
You know,
class of battleships
did,
named
did
after
you
himself. So we've got the
did
Golden
you
Fleet.
did you land at the Trump International Airport in Raleigh? He's going to rename it the Trump International Airport. By the way, that's an East Coast thing, Mark. I don't know if you know that. It's a East Coast thing, the Northeast. These people have egos so big they like to name things after themselves. Okay, I'm serious. So it's always they slap their name on something. So all it is a big East Coast thing that he's doing is putting his name on things like aircraft carriers. You know what they have in retirement plan, which I work in? They have the Trump accounts now. I don't know if you know that. You can
Let's
put things
see.
in retirement accounts or you can put it in your Trump account. I cannot puke enough. I won't even do them for clients. If they come to me, I said, look, I'm not going to, feed this person's ego because he wants Trump named after everything. That's ridiculous. And the fact this shows how weak the Republican Party is today, that they allow them to do it. It's just the weakness of the Republican Party. There are no leaders. They're all sheep. Bad, bad. We're just going to follow Donald. Donald, you know. And they shouldn't. They should be able to stand up on their own two legs, but apparently they can't. You know. But yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, I don't like the Kennedy Center either. I hated when Kennedy did it. Okay, we had a street in Tampa called Grand Central Parkway. No, it's Grand Central Boulevard. He renamed it John F. Kennedy. He was one of the worst presidents ever to exist. Why did they name a street after him? His great things he did was almost get us in a thermonuclear war. He got us in the Bay of Pigs, and he escalated the Vietnamese War. All three aren't great, and they named a street after. Come on, cut it out. You know. So
Well, I just
just
figured you were going to try to get your own fleet, the Nick Palveda fleet of ships and everything like that.
no,
I
no,
did see.
it's nothing. Anybody who does that is a disgusting human being. You don't name stuff after you. Come on, man, get a break. You know. So the thing is, it just shows how insecure he is and how weak the Republican Party is.
Well, speaking of
Because
the
the
Republican
leaders
Party being weak, we know that
against
guns have been an issue, and we talked about it ad nauseum on this network and everything. But apparently, the Justice Department is suing Washington D.C. because Washington D.C. banned semi-automatic guns. So I guess the Justice Department is upset. So they're suing D.C. over its gun laws because D.C. we had a ban on AR-15s and other semi-automatic guns. But I guess the Justice Department, which is under Trump, says we don't need these guns and everything like that. So they're going to sue DC over its restrictive gun laws.
Well, by the way, this happens more often than you think. Government entities suing government entities. And who pays that bill? Jacoby pays it and you pay it, Mark, through taxes. It's disgusting. Now, notice what happened. And I used to work for the city attorney's office in Miami Beach. Okay. And one thing that really griped me, this was even when I was a kid, I figured this out. The city would sue the county, or the city of Miami Beach would sue the city of Miami. I said, who's paying for this litigation? Taxpayers are. Okay, so the minute that happens, the taxpayers are paying for that litigation. Now, not to mention the fact they shouldn't have guns all over the place in the United States anyway, but unfortunately those cows have left the barn, so bringing them back in is real tough. In other words, unfortunately.
Are you just going to ban guns, or would you ban knives? Because there was a bow and arrow attack recently as well, and of course there was a knife attack in the world also.
It's impractical to ban them, but you do have to put very strict controls on them, and you got to get rid of the Second Amendment because it's stupid. It was in the 1700s. It doesn't work today.
But I'm saying, but that's what I'm asking.
Here's the fact. You're not going to do it. Okay, the U.S. ain't going to do it. I'm in Spain. Spain is a very safe country. U.S. isn't going to do it. U.S. is going to be a hillbilly country. Fine, it's just the way it is.
But I'm asking you, should we ban all weapons? Because the attack that took place in Jersey was actually a bow and arrow attack, and I think there was a knife attack not that long ago.
Impractical. Unfortunately, it's impractical. To ban all weapons. But the thing is, you can't make it. You can't not make it easy, and you have to have better mental health facilities over there. The U.S. when it comes to crime is like a third world country. You're just not. It's not. Europe is much more advanced when it comes to mental health and crime control.
Well, you speak about.
Go look at the stats of violent crimes in Europe and then check the U.S. It's not even close.
I'll check that in a second. But just really quickly, because you mentioned funding and all along those lines, there was an article in the Washington Post that said that very shortly, a middle-class family's only option will be a $43,000, I did say $43,000, health insurance premium. So that's going to be not affordable for a lot of people when this billions of soon-to-be uninsured Americans are looking for a plan B. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that I could afford $43,000.
Oh yeah, by the way, Mark, you're talking about a very important topic: is healthcare in the U.S. The cost, like the last one I looked, $14,750 per person in healthcare, and there's no plan that I can see that has any credibility. I have one back here that was written years ago about a universal health coverage, and they could do it in the U.S. They need to do it and keep it really, really cheap. Bare bones cheap that covers the basics. There's no political will to change the system, so you have a very archaic healthcare system there. Spain, healthcare costs are down tremendously, but it's not just Spain; it's most of the European Union. So they actually do address the healthcare issue in the European Union, and they do have universal healthcare almost everywhere in Europe, but not in the United States. And I don't see it changing. Instead, I see what you're showing right now is that $43,000 for a family to get health insurance. Figure it's $14,000, make it $15,000, not $14,750 right now. So if you had a family of four, it's $30,000 a year for health insurance. Really, who can afford that? Remember you have other expenses too. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Jacoby, but
I mean, yeah, I mean, the healthcare and all the other stuff, it's bad, and yeah, it's definitely not going to get fixed. But it becomes a redundant conversation because it's not what's in the U.S. But hey, guess what else is not in the U.S. And this is pretty cool because trying to move to something positive. Nick, you might like this because you're over in Spain and you might be able to actually pick this up. This is Huawei. Well, so the Chinese car market is awesome right now. I'm not gonna lie. They've got some cars that should be in the US, but will never make it to the US, like BYD. They've been putting out some great cars that are great competitors to Tesla and the EV market, but the Chinese EV market is nice. Like this right here is Huawei's car. It is ridiculous.
We were taught to believe Chinese cars were cheap, unreliable, and never meant to be taken seriously. But what if that entire belief system just collapsed overnight? Because while Germany was polishing badges and Japan was playing it safe, China went quiet and then rewrote the EV rulebook. Today, I'm bringing you a car that doesn't just challenge the luxury giants, it embarrasses them. This is the Huawei Stelato S9T, and I'm warning you right now, once you see what this thing offers, your definition of premium is never going to be the same. It can drive itself from a parking spot to another parking spot without a map. It has zero gravity seats that feel better than a first-class flight. It costs less than a base model Tesla Model Y. I'm not joking. Today, I'm showing you the car that proves the United States is officially losing the EV war. Buckle up. Let's start with exterior. Most wagons look like hearses. This looks like a fighter jet that decided to settle down and have kids, but didn't give up the gym. It is massive. That is longer than a BMW X5. But look at the shape. It is slippery. And because it's the year 2025 and we're in the future, look at the mirrors. There aren't any. These are high-definition cameras. Now, I know, cameras are a gimmick. I thought so too, until I saw the night vision on these things. You can be driving in pitch black darkness and the screens inside show you the road like it's high noon. It eliminates blind spots completely. It's not just cool, it makes glass mirrors look like Stone Age technology. But the face, this is where it gets spooky. This design language is called Galaxy Light. And these headlights, they aren't just lights, they are Huawei's X-Pixel system. Get this, these things are effectively 2 megapixel projectors. If you're waiting for a friend, you can literally project a movie onto a wall using your headlights, a full 100-inch display. If you're letting a pedestrian cross the street, the car projects a lit-up crosswalk onto the asphalt to tell them it's safe.
That's nuts.
Bro, my Ford doesn't even tell me when my door is open. This thing is communicating with pedestrians. It feels alive. When you walk up to it, the lights ripple. It acknowledges you. And check the top of the windshield. See that bump? That is the LiDAR, the 192-line laser scanner that sees the world in 3D. It looks a bit like a taxi sign, I'll admit. But when you find out what it does, you'll forgive the bump. We'll get to the self-driving in a minute, and trust me, it's going to scare you. Round back. This is the money shot. This is where the wagon flex happens. Most EVs trail off at the back for aerodynamics and ruin the headroom. This keeps going. It has a shooting brake vibe. The taillight bar, called the Star River, stretches the entire width. Inside the red plastic, there are thousands of tiny crystal facets. When it lights up, it doesn't just glow, it sparkles. It looks like crushed diamonds. It looks expensive. If you put a German badge on this, if you slapped a Mercedes star or an Audi ring on the back, people would pay $150,000 for this car without blinking. But spoiler alert, it is nowhere near that price. We'll get to the number at the end, and it is going to make you mad. Like write a letter to your congressman mad. Okay, popping the hood. Is there an engine? No. Is there a massive frunk? Yes, you can fit a carry-on suitcase in here. But the magic is underneath. This uses Huawei's Drive One powertrain. You've got dual motors pushing out nearly 530 horsepower. 0 to 60, 9 seconds, in a family wagon. That means you can gap a Mustang GT with your kids, your dog, and a week's worth of groceries in the back. It's violent. And the battery? This is the Whale battery from CATL, 100 kilowatt hours. The range? 816 kilometers on the CLTC cycle. Now, CLTC is usually optimistic, but even if we convert that to strict US EPA numbers, you are looking at over 400 miles of real-world range. That beats almost everything we can buy in the States. But here is the stat that actually matters. The charging speed. This runs on a full 800-volt silicon carbide architecture. You can add 200 kilometers, that's 125 miles, of range in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That is a bathroom break and a coffee. By the time you're back, the car is ready to go another 2 hours. Why is this tech not in America? Seriously, I want answers. We are still sitting at chargers for 40 minutes like peasants, and they are doing splash and dash charging. Okay, welcome to the future. I'm not exaggerating. First, the dash. It's running Harmony OS 4. If you have a Huawei phone, the integration is seamless. You tap your phone to the dash and the car becomes your phone. But look at the materials. This isn't vegan leather that feels like plastic. This is real, supple Nappa leather. The headliner is micro-sweet. The wood trim is open pore. The crystal buttons feel like jewelry. Everything you touch feels heavy, dampened, and expensive. There are no squeaks, no rattles. And the screens? You have a 12.3-inch instrument cluster, a massive 15.6-inch center screen, and 2 more screens for the digital mirrors. The UI is fluid, 60 frames per second, no lag. You can drag and drop windows, play games, edit videos. It is a computer. But forget the driver. The passenger seat is the throne. This is called the Queen seat. Watch this. This is zero gravity mode. It lifts your knees to heart level to improve circulation. It feels like you are floating. And while you're floating, the seat is heating you, ventilating you, and giving you a hot stone massage. I'm not talking about those weak little vibrations you get in a Ford. I mean a real massage with rollers that dig into your back. I could genuinely sleep here for 8 hours. In fact, the car has a nap mode. You press one button, the windows dim, the AC goes to a gentle breeze, the seat reclines, and soothing nature sounds play through the speakers. It is an isolation tank on wheels. But wait, I told you there was a feature in this car that no US brand would ever dare to try. Look at the roof. A 32-inch cinema screen. This isn't a tiny iPad stuck to the headrest. This is a movie theater. It's a laser projector system, so the image is crisp even in daylight. You can watch Netflix, play PlayStation, attend Zoom meetings, all from the back seat of a wagon. And the sound? It has the Huawei Sound Superior system, 25 speakers, 2080 watts. The headrests have speakers in them. I watched the Dune trailer in here earlier, and I felt the sand in my teeth. It shakes your chest. Compare this to the premium audio in a Model Y. There is no comparison. This is better than my living room. And check the center console back here. A fridge. Not a cooler that just blows air, a real compressor fridge. You can set it to freezing, you can keep ice cream in here, or you can set it to warm mode to keep your takeout hot. Who thinks of this? Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the ghost in the machine, the self-driving. Levy. In the US, we talk about FSD, full self-driving, and it's impressive. But this is different. It doesn't rely on high-definition maps. It doesn't need to know the road beforehand. It uses that LiDAR on the roof and the cameras to see the world in real time. Since this is the S9T touring version, we have to talk utility. The boot is massive. You can lay the back seats down and you basically have a double bed. Camping mode? Easy. Costco run? You could fit the entire store in here. It has the luxury of a Rolls-Royce, but the practicality of a Subaru Outback. That is a combination that simply does not exist in the Western market right now. We have to choose luxury sedan or practical SUV. This car says, why not both? And look at the details. There are 220-volt outlets back here to power your laptop or a coffee maker. There are tie-down hooks that are made of aluminum, not plastic. Even the carpet in the trunk feels premium. So, let's talk about the price. We've got a...
Can you guess? Take a wild guess how much you think it is going to cost.
37,000.
25,000.
Now, there's a premium car that would cost over $100,000 anywhere else.
car that is faster than a Porsche, more comfortable than an S-Class, and smarter than a Tesla. If this was sold by BMW, it would be $120,000. If it was sold by Lucid, it would be $100,000. The Huawei Stelato S9T starts at around 309,000 RMB. Do the math. That is roughly 42,800 USD. 42,000 for the base model. And the fully loaded max spec Ultra version I'm driving, about 55,000 USD. 55K. That is the price of a mid-spec Ford Explorer. that is cheaper than a base model Y long range. For this, for a car that parks itself, has a cinema inside, drives 500 miles, and massages your back while you sleep, this is a cheat code. They are selling a spaceship for the price of a taxi. And that is why I'm scared for the legacy automakers. Because how do you compete with this?
So I have to ask you a serious question, and I want you to be honest in the comments. If this car came to the US and it cost $55,000, would you still buy a BMW 5 Series? Or would you switch teams? Because looking at this, I think I know the answer, and it scares the hell out of the
I mean, look at that, Martin. That is the whole front panel.
Yep.
Mercedes, I mean, it looks better. It looks just like Mercedes front panel, the Lincoln Navigators front panel, all the front panels that are out there right now for any of the cars that are out there. That's $100,000 front panel, because the Lincoln Navigators front panel that they rant and raved about being all this length, yeah, that's $100,000 car. Same thing with Mercedes. You want a panel like that, you're paying $100,000. But that's just nuts.
Oh yeah.
And that's why the Chinese market right now will not come to the U.S., because the U.S. automaker right now would have a lot of trouble competing against that. That's why it gets blocked out. Same thing with BYD. The reason BYD isn't in the U.S. is because Tesla owns the market.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I think it's a great value for people that want to buy cars, but I don't own a car anymore. I haven't owned a car for over a year and a half. So I don't really care about cars. Yeah, I don't need a car in Spain. So why would I want to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on a car that I don't need? But it makes me feel good because the cost of when I used to have cars, it's really expensive. It's so much better to get if your city has mass transportation. It's so much better to just get on your mass transportation system. Unfortunately, U.S. doesn't. U.S. is horrible. So they push these cars out that are really expensive. Not just the buying. They have to pay insurance. Then you have to pay for the gas or the electricity, and then you have to pay the maintenance of it. I mean, a lot of money going down the drain in cars. When if you had a decent mass transportation system, you wouldn't need to have those things. But get rid of it and go to mass transportation. But car dealers and automakers are the ones that they dominate that market. Yeah, but you do have a point that how can the U.S. compete against China in cars? I don't think they can in the next 10 years. It's going to be hard. And if I don't know if this is even available in Spain though. I'd have to go look.
I know BYD, I think, is available in Spain. And
I'd have to, yeah. But see, my problem is even if I checked, I wouldn't buy a car. It's just so much. The train system here is so good. I'd rather go on a train than take the subways in Madrid. Mm-hmm. So much better. The trains, almost every city I've gone to, Prague, Budapest, Amsterdam, all have great public transportation systems. And you learn how to go on the trains, hit the subways, hit the trams, walk. Believe it or not, walking is a way. So the thing is, what do you need a car for?
Yeah.
To park it? I mean, and then pay some monthly fee. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. But when I go to the United States to Tovey, I always rent a car, and if I was going there for a long time, I'd have to buy a car because in the U.S. you can't get around Raleigh-Durham. Mark gets around on public transportation, but most people, they can't.
And that's the way cities are. That's the tough part about cities, is that's the way they were built. I mean, typically from your place of work to your house, it's a few, maybe 10, 20 miles. You're not going to walk that far.
Yeah, that's true. 10, 20 miles is too far. Hey, Steve has joined us. We're waiting for him to become a member of Congress.
Let's win this one first. Once
you win this one, the next step will be he'll be in Washington, D.C., and maybe it'll be like all the other congressmen in Washington, D.C. They just ignore the rest of them.
Or I could be like, I actually made my thought, maybe I can just be on CNN and be a national pundit and then get the voice of the people, but I have to go through all the crap. So I got to tell you, there are days where I really wonder maybe that's the way to go, but we'll see. But no, I got on late. I had to take a call, but happy holidays. And I'll be around, I guess, next week and after holidays. And after March 3rd, I'll have a hell of a lot more time. But appreciate you. And thank you so much for everything, guys. Have a great holidays.
Well, we hope once you become a congressman, which is in the cards, that you won't ignore us afterwards.
No,
You'll say,
I'm proud to be a member of the media and a pundit than a politician.
Yeah. Once people become member of Congress, they kind of ignore everybody else.
No, not really. You're pretty junior bear. All you do is sit in the closet room making phone calls to raise money. So it's not
really, well,
it's not everything it's pumped up to be. But anyway, be safe wherever you are, and thank you all so much. And I'll give my update tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Chris,
All right. That'd be good.
Nick, where are you now?
I'm in Barcelona, Spain. Still, I will be in your neck of the woods. I'll be in Los Angeles in February, so I'm going back to the States in February.
All right.
And then in January, I'm going to be in Istanbul, Efesha, Turkey.
We'd love to
I'll
see
be
you.
in Turkey next month. So I'm traveling a lot.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, be safe.
But speaking of traveling, I guess we're going to be traveling.
Might need a little Christmas gift from you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
We're going to have to go because we're at the hour, and I think we
Yeah,
don't want to interfere with Sasha coming up on the March of Ukraine. So we'll have to see everybody later. I'll cut it off right now.